What's up, y'all? For those who don't know me, my name is Sandro. For those who do, it's Joe again. I'm gonna be starting a new series, and my series is gonna be called IQ Fridays. In IQ Fridays, I'm gonna basically break down the fundamentals of football for people who don't really know the game as one that are trying to understand it better. So, in football, you have 11 people on each side of the ball. You have offense, and then you have defense. So, on offense, always starts out with that quarterback, for those who know. Then you have a running back. You would have a center. You have two guards on each side, and you have two tackles on each side. Then you would have a receiver, outside receiver, slot receiver, another outside receiver. That would be the 11 people on offense. Defensively, most people kind of run like two safeties, one high, one low. Then you would have DBs, defensive backs. Probably have about three of those. Two middle linebackers. Have edge rushers. You have tackles. This will be the 11 on defense. See? 11, 11. Alright, for those who don't know, a football field is 120 yards generally. You have two end zones, which are both 10 yards. Then if you watch, there's 10, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, then you go 40 again, 30, 20, and then 10 till you get all the way to that end zone, which is indeed another 10 yards. So if you were to run a whole football field, you're running 120 yards. But genuinely, to get to the end zone, if you kind of kneel it, you go to the 25, which would be kind of the middle right here between that 20 and the 30. Then you got to drive all the way up 75 yards to get to this end zone, which is 75 yards of that 120-yard field. So that is how long a football field is, and this is most likely how many yards you're going to have to go to get to that end zone. All right, so like I just told y'all, had about 75 yards to get up the field, but somebody breaks out and gets a big play. Within from 1 to 10 yards of that end zone, you have the red zone. Once you're in that red zone area, you have the best percentage of scoring a touchdown out of anything. So basically, typically in the red zone, teams would do run plays, short passing plays, anything to get you into that end zone. And I didn't break this down yet, but in each drive, you have 4 downs. And in your 4 downs, you can always get a first down. A first down would be 10 yards away from where you are. So we're at 25. Let's go to about right here. So let's say you're on 3rd down. You got one more play to get to to get the first down, unless you want to go for it on 4th down, which I'll break down in a minute. You need at least 10 yards or wherever you're at to this first yard line to get that to get the first down. Then once you get that first down, restarts all over again. You back on the first down. Now you got to get another 10 yards till you hit the jackpot, which is the end zone.
So would you say having more first downs is beneficial?
Definitely beneficial, because if you get a lot of first downs, it's kind of easier for you to get to that end zone instead of, let's say for instance, you're in a game and you're down by 1 touchdown, and I didn't break it down yet, but the touchdown is 6 points. With a conversion, there's touchdown is 6 points, 1 point conversion will make it 7. And then if you get a 2-point conversion, you get 8 points. So I would say the first downs are very beneficial, because if you're in a game and you're down by 6 and you're, let's say, all the way at the 25 again, you don't get no first downs and the clock winded down. Some quarterbacks can, but until you get to the high school level, they ain't gonna be able to throw a pass all the way to that end zone. So you typically want to get as much first downs as you could get. So you can either get your quarterback or your running back in the best position to get you that game-winning drive touchdown. So yes, first downs are very beneficial in the game of football. They're what helps you win games. A lot of coaches like to say, when you're a running back, I at least want 5 yards. Because if you get 5 yards 2 times, that's a first down. So that's why coaches always say, and a running back, yeah, big burst plays is cool, but once you give me 5 yards, it's good with me. Because like I said, you get that twice, 5 times 2 is 10. 10 yards is the first down. Okay, y'all, since we just got the field stuff down, now we're going to talk about what each position does. To start off, what people love to talk about is the best, quarterback. As a quarterback, you're passing, you're reading the defense, you're seeing what, like let's say when I talked about the defense, what each position is at. Is the safety up high? Is the linebackers blitzing? Like how many people on the line? A quarterback is a very hard position. You got to have a good mind, good arm. You got to be able to be very smart, really. So after the quarterback, let's go to the running back. Running back, there's 3 things they usually do. They run the ball because they're running back. They block when the coaches need them to do blocking plays. They have to block. And then they go out for passes. Then let's go over most of these kids' favorites. The wide receiver.
Why you say that's their favorites?
Because kids, boy, I'm from Florida myself. You know, kids love a blur, boy. These the main people that's going to get you that BLUR. Blur. That's what receivers love to do, boy. So, receivers, you run routes. Usually you have to have quick feet. You got to know how to do your routes right. Because if you running your route sloppy, boy, you ain't going to get open. Them DBs, they going to put you in a box, my guy. So as a receiver, you really just run routes, get open, make it easy for your quarterback to get you the ball. Then let's go to the offensive line, the big boys. All right, the center. A lot of people love to say quarterback is the most important position. Not gonna say it's not, but without the center, ain't nothing getting done. As a center, you snapping the ball, you blocking. If you see something the quarterback can't see, because you one of the bigger guys typically, you already in the front, quarterback behind you, you in front of him. Hey, quarterback, I see this. Hey, they usually have calls for that as a coach. You're not going to usually just say out loud what you see. But if they have a call for it, they always helping out. Snapping the ball. If the ball ain't getting to the quarterback, ain't no play is getting done. If you ask me, the center is the most important position on the field. What a coach told me is the center of attention, because he's literally the center of attention. If he's not doing what he's supposed to do, ain't nothing gonna get done. So let's go to our guards. You have 2 guards. You have a right and a left guard. As a guard, you usually blocking. On guards, you more so go up to the linebackers, which is what they call the next level. If you shut off your block, you going up to the next level, making it easier for your running back to get out.
What do you mean by shutting off your block?
Shutting off your block. So let's say, for instance, you blocking somebody. Boom. Push them out of the way. Going up to the next level, you just shut it off your block. And typically not at the youth level till you get to, I say, about 10U. They don't incorporate pulling guards, but there's such a thing when guards pull, which is basically take a step back, roll out, and you blocking everybody out the way for your running back to get a big touchdown. We'll probably put a video up on that in this video. So now you got your 2 tackles, left and a right tackle. A tackle is very important too, because if your quarterback right-handed or left-handed, don't matter. They always have a blind side. As a left-handed quarterback, the right side you typically not seeing because you towards your left side. Right-handed quarterback, left side. So you have to have a good tackle, because if you have a good edge rusher, your quarterback is going to get obliterated every single time if your tackle isn't doing his job. As a tackle, you usually block. You would go up to the next level if your coach wants you to usually do that, but most of the time you're keeping that edge rusher intact. So that's really the offense for you guys.